Hello, 大家好. Welcome to my Chinese Pinyin speed learning course. If you are looking for an easy and effective way of learning Chinese Pinyin, congratulations, you have come to the right place. This video makes learning Pinyin so easy. Easy to understand, easy to follow, and easy to master. It consists of two parts. Part 1 is the initials, which is the 声母, and part 2 is the finals, which is the 韵母. It contains all the contents you need to learn pinyin. Detailed descriptions, professional guidance, standard demonstrations, and targeted vocabulary and sentence practices. And above all, the unique tips to help you to pronounce each sound correctly. Are you ready? Let's get into it.
Hi, welcome to TCH Chinese Academy, Chinese Pinyin Speedy Course. This course will take you into a fascinating world of Chinese pronunciations. A good foundation of Chinese Pinyin, that is the Chinese pronunciation, is highly important because it helps you to pronounce Chinese sounds correctly and naturally so that you sound like a native speaker. It is also important to help you identify the Chinese sounds, getting a more comprehensive input and therefore quickly help you acquire the Chinese language. And most importantly, it also helps you type Chinese characters efficiently and correctly, as a great pinyin foundation makes it easier to input Chinese text. Well, whether you are a beginner or a learner, and this course is just designed for you, as I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to develop a correct and awesome Chinese pronunciation by using my TCH methods and the tips. Chinese language has two parts. One is the written part, which we called 汉字. That means the Chinese characters. And the other part is the pronunciation, which is called Pinyin. So that is how the Chinese characters are pronounced. And this course is mainly about the Pinyin course. And later on, I'm going to have another course on characters. Then what exactly Pinyin is? Pinyin is made up of three parts, which is initials, finals, and tones. And initials is 声母, and finals are 韵母, and tones are 声调. Now let's take a closer look at the pinyin. So this letter M, which is pronounced the mo in Chinese, it is the initial because it is at the beginning of the pinyin. This letter A, and in Chinese pinyin is A, and it is at the end of this word. So it is called the final. And this little mark on the top of the final is the tone. And this curved one is the third tone. So together, and this is pronounced ma, ma. Then how many initials and how many finals and how many tones? And what are they? We can say initials, they are very much like the consonants in English. And the only difference is that they always at the beginning of the words. That's why they are called initials. And the finals are very much like the vowels in English, and they are always at the end of the words. So that's why they are called finals. And the tones is so much different from English because Chinese is a tonic language, and pinyin with different tones are distinctive. Then let's have a quick look at the initials. Well, here are the initials, and there are 21 of them, and these two are called half initials, so they are not included in this 21. And you maybe also have found these 21 initials are put into different groups. They are grouped according to the precisions and the ways how they are pronounced. And here are the 35 finals. Don't be scared. Actually, there are 6 very basic finals. They are a, wo, and i, u, yu. You might have found that these vowels are combinations of either of them. And when it comes to tones, and we mean Chinese is a tonic language and each tone is distinctive, and normally we have 4 tones. And they are the first, second, third, and fourth. Let's take this R sound, for example. Look at the mark on the first tone. It is just a line, it's a flat line. So that is ah, ah. And the second tone, we can see it is an uprising or uphill tone. It's ah, ah. It's just like a question. You are questioning in English. Ah, ah. And third tone, it is like a curve, down and then uphill. So it's pronounced ah, ah. And the fourth tone is a downhill mark. So it is pronounced ah, ah. Yes, it's very affirmative. There are some Chinese learners, they will say Chinese has 5 tones because they add this neutral tone as one of the tones. Actually, we native Chinese just classify them as 4 tones. For example, ma, this is the first tone because it is flat. Ma, and it means mother. And ma, this is the second tone and it goes up. So ma, it means hemp. It has nothing to do with ma. And then ma, this is the third tone. So down and uphill. So ma, that is the horse. And this fourth downhill tone is ma. It is a verb to scold. And this neutral tone that is not stressed is ma. Ma. It's a question marker, always at the end of a sentence to make a statement into a question. Now, can you try? Ma, 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 ma. Then how to get this, flat up and down tones in Chinese? Actually, it has a lot to do with the pitch ranges. When we pronounce the first tone, remember it is flat and it starts high. That is ah, ah. And the second tone is a uphill tone. When you make this sound, you gotta start low and go high. So it is ah, ah. And third tone is down and up. So we start with down and then up. That is ah, ah. It's like, the English that kind of sound. And then the last tone, the fourth tone, it is very affirmative. It goes down. So it's like this. So ah and ah. Next, let's take a tongue twister to describe this picture. 妈妈骑马马慢，妈妈骂马。 Can you feel the difference of the tones? Remember, the tones are distinctive. Then what does this mean? So mama means the mother. 骑 means ride. Ma, yeah, that is the horse. And then ma, the horse is slow. And mama, that's the mother. Ma, scold. Ma, the horse. So together it means mom rides a horse and the horse is slow, and mom scolds the horse. Well, so much for this short introduction about the pinyin in general. We'll start with the initials. The Chinese initials function like English consonants. Many of them are pronounced approximately the same as their English counterparts. And in this video, we'll mainly focus on labels. We put these four sounds together as the labels. So these labels are produced by bringing lips together or near each other, so that the air is blocked in the mouth, and when you open them, the sound is released. Okay, we'll start with the first labels, b, b. When we pronounce this b, we need to shut the lips tight enough to obstacle to block the air, and then open them and let the air out. And notice this sound is not aspirated, just as we pronounce the English sound in bay. Now let's do some exercises by using the initial b, as in ba, ba. That is the number 8 in Chinese. So the initial is pronounced bo, and this final is the a. So together, bo, a, ba. And this tone is, the first tone is flat. Try to make sure you keep it flat from the beginning to the end. And also, the tongue precision is just remain the same. Bo, a, ba, ba, ba. Yeah, it's simple. Now, how about this one? So the same bo, and this time the final is e, and the tone is the third tone, so a curve down and up. So bo, yi, bi, and in Chinese means a pencil. Bi, bi, bi. And how about this one? Bo and ah again, but this time is fourth tone, so you got to go down. So ba. Notice this one, there's no tone on it, so that means it is pronounced very short and very soft. So together, ba, ba. That means that. In Chinese, there are a lot of words that are the repetition of the same sound. And in this case, the second syllable is not stressed and it has no tone. So, ba, ba. Next, let's look at the second initial labels. That is p, p. Like the first initial b, shut the lips tightly to block the air, and then open them quickly and force the air out. So this sound is aspirated, just as in the English word pay. Now let's do some exercises by using the p sound. And the first one is p, a, pa. That means to be afraid. So this is the final ah. The tone is, the fourth tone is a falling tone. So together, po, ah, pa, pa. And the next one is the same final but this is a uprising tone. Po, pa means crawl. Pa, pa. And let's try this. Po, and this time the final is o, and the tone is second one going up. And this one, no tone, just as I explained, when there is a repetition of the word, the syllable is not stressed. So, po, 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 po. It means mother-in-law. Now let's try one more time. Pa, pa, po, po. More. So when pronounced more, and we also need to shut the lips tightly because they are labels. The air is blocked and then let them out through the nosy capacity this time. And this sound is not aspirated, just as in the English may. More, more, more.
Mo, mo. Mo.
Now let's do some exercises by using more. The first one is more, the third tone, ma, ma. That is a horse. And more, this time is the fourth tone, falling tone. So more, ma, ma, that is to scold. And next one, more, ma, and this one is not stressed, so mama, mama, that is mother in English. Now let's try one more time. More, ma, ma, more, ma, ma, more, ma, mama, mama. And the last label initial is for. When pronounced the f sound, try to press the upper teeth against the lower lip and then let out a breath. Sound relies on the friction between the teeth and the lip, and the sound is not aspirated, just as in the English word fat. So, for. Now let's do some exercise with for. And the first one is for the third tone. Yes, fa. That means the law in English. Fa. And the second one is for second tone going up. Fa. That means to punish. And the third one for first tone, fa. And this one we're going to learn later. So, xi, yan, xian. Together, fa, xian. Fa, xian means to discover. Now try one more time. Fa, xian. Where that's all for this four label initials. Bo, mo, f. In this video, we'll work on the alveolar initials. The Chinese alveolar pinyin are d, t, n, l. We group these four pinyin together as alveolar because when these alveolar sounds are produced, tip of the tongue need to touch the alveolar ridge. And by doing so, the air is blocked. And then drop the tongue to let the air out. These alveolar sounds are released. Well, let's look at the first alveolar initial, the. This one is very simple, as you can see. And when we pronounce it, we try to touch the tip of the tongue to the upper ridge of the teeth. And then drop the tongue to let the air out. And this sound is not aspirated, just as in the English word dad. So the. Now let's look at some exercises with the. So the first one is the a da. This is the fourth tone. So the a da, and it means big in English. Da, da. And the next one is the a third tone. Da, da. It means beat in English. Da, da. And next one is di. So this final is e, and we'll learn that later. And the, e, di, the fourth tone. And this one no tone, as it is the repetition of the same word, so it's not stressed. Di. That is younger brother. And this alveolar initial is the. Just like the previous initial the, we need to touch the tip of the tongue to the upper ridge of the teeth. And then drop our tongue quickly to force the air out. And so the sound is aspirated, just as we pronounce the English word time. So t. Now let's look at some exercises. So the first tone flat, ta, and this is he or she or it in English. You may ask why they are the same. Actually, the Chinese characters for these three are not the same at all, but the pinyin are the same. So just by listening to the sounds, we don't know which is which, but they are always in contact, so it's not that hard to differentiate. So ta. And this one is the the third tone, ta, and that is a tower in English. So ta. And this one is t. So t, the first tone, t, and this one is totally new, and we will learn that later. So 球, t, 球, t, 球. That means to kick the ball. So t is kick and 球 is ball. Any kind of ball game involving the kicking, like football, soccer. So 踢球. Can you try? 他踢球. So these two alveolars are quite easy, right? But if you do have some problem differentiating them, now let's try to compare. And first of all, something in common, that is when we pronounce these two words, try to make sure the tip of the tongue is touching the alveolar ridge. And then the difference is that when we pronounce the, we just drop the tongue and let the air out so that the sound is not aspirated. But when we pronounce and try to drop the tongue quickly and force the air out. So the sound is aspirated. Let's take a look at the alveolar initial N. When we pronounce this initial, try to touch the tip of the tongue to the upper ridge of the teeth, and then let the air out through the nasal capacity. And so this sound is not aspirated, just as in the English word nurse. So, n. Let's do some exercises with n. The first one is n, e, and third tone, n, e, ni. And it means you in English. Ni, ni. And the next one is n, a, the foreign tone, na, na. It means that. Look at this one. N, a, na, na. And we're going to learn this just next. And this is l, i, li. So together, na li, na li. That means where. Can you try? N, i, ni, ni. N, a, na, na. N, a, na. L, i, li. Na li, na li. Now let's look at the last alveolar initial, l, l. When pronounced this sound, touch the tip of the tongue to the back of the upper teeth, and then let the air out through both sides of the tongue. And this sound is not aspirated, just as in the English word line. So, l, l, l. Now let's look at some exercises with l. The first one is l, a, and falling tone, la, la, la. That means spicy. Something is la, it is spicy. And l, a, the first tone, flat. La, la, la. That means to pull, like to pull the door. This one looks quite complicated, and we're going to learn that later, but it's pronounced quite. And let's focus on this. L, and this final is pronounced and falling tone, l, l. Quite le, quite le. That means to be happy. Can you try? La, 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 la. Quite le, quite le. Let's compare these two alveolar initials. For some people, it's hard for them to differentiate n from l. Even some Chinese from the southern part of China, they have trouble trying to differentiating these two words. But once you know the tips, it's not that hard. Because they are all alveolar initials, that means when we pronounce this kind of sounds, we need to make sure the tip of tongue touching the upper ridge of the teeth. Look at the precisions of the tip of the tongue. When we pronounce n, and we are touching the front part of the upper ridge of teeth. Whereas when we pronounce l, we are touching the back of the upper ridge of the teeth. And this N sound is a nasal sound, so that is the air is coming out through the nasal capacity, whereas this L sound is not. So the sounds comes from both sides of the tongue. When you pronounce L, try to drop the jaw a little lower and draw back the tongue a little bit so you can make the L sound. Now can you try? N, L, N, L. Now let's try the 4 alveolar initials. D, T, N, L, D, T, N, L. In this video, we'll work on the velar initials, and there are 3 of them. G, K, H. We put these 3 together as velars because when we pronounce them, try to raise the back of tongue against or near the soft palate, which is the back of the roof of the mouth. By doing so, the air is blocked, and when it is released, these velar sounds are pronounced. Well, let's learn the first velar initial, G. We can see the back of the tongue is raised against the soft palate, which is this part. And just let the air out. And this sound is not aspirated, as in the English word good. G, G.
G, G, G.
Well, let's do some exercises with G. And the first one is G. So G, and this EI is the final. It's pronounced A, just like the letter A, and third tone. So together, G, A, 给, 给, 给. That means to give. And this one is G, and OU is pronounced O, and also third tone. So G, O, 狗, 狗, 狗. That is a dog. And this one is G, G. So G, and this vowel is, this letter E is a final, is pronounced So G, and this one no tone, which is the repetition of the same word. So G, 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 G means older brother. And the second velar initial is K. Just as with G, the tongue position is the same. So the back of the tongue is raised against the soft palate. But when pronounced this velar, we need to force the air out. And this sound is aspirated, just as in the English word kite. K, K, K. Now let's do some exercises with K. The first one is K. This letter E is pronounced with a third tone. So K, 可, 可, 可. That means thirsty. And K, this letter U is pronounced U with the first tone flat. So ku. So K, U, ku, ku, ku. That means to cry. And this one, K. Yeah, this is A, the first tone, Ka. And this initial is F, and EI is A, also the first tone. So F, A, Fei, Ka, Fei, Ka, Fei, Ka, Fei. And this is coffee. The last velar initial is H. Look at the tongue position. Also, the back of the tongue is raised towards the soft palate, but this time is the back of the soft palate. And then try to let the air flow out. So the sound is aspirated, just as in the English word happy. So, H, H, H. Now let's do some exercises with H. The first one is H, and this letter E is the final and the first tone. H, H, H. It means to drink. So H and E end together as a final, and it's pronounced N, third tone. So H, N, 很, 很, 很. That means very. And this one, H and A end together as a final, and it's pronounced An, fourth tone. So H, An, Han, Han. And this we'll learn later, and it's pronounced Yu. So together, 汉语, 汉语, 汉语 means the Chinese language. Well, let's compare these three velar initials. First, in terms of their tongue positions. So we can say both G and the K. The tongue positions are exactly the same. That is, raise the back of the tongue towards the soft palate. But when we pronounce this H sound, we can see the tongue position is a little bit back and also is raised towards the back of the soft palate, whereas this one is just towards the soft palate. So compared with the H sound, the tongue is a little bit lower and flat, and this one is much higher and back. And for this too, either let the air out as G or force the air out as K. But when pronounced H and the air flows out this channel. Well, so much for the three velar sounds. G, K, H. And in this video, we're working on the palatal initials. They are Ji, Qi. We group these three together as palatal sounds because when we pronounce them, we need to raise the front of your tongue to the hard palate, and also press the tip of your tongue against the back of your lower teeth. And the palatal sounds are produced when the air is released. The first one is Ji. When pronounced this sound, we need to raise the front part of the tongue to the hard palate, and then press the tip of the tongue to the back of your lower teeth, and then sneeze air out. And the sound is not aspirated, just as in the English word Jeep. Ji, Ji.
Ji, Ji, Ji.
Now let's look at some exercises. Ji, Ji, and the final is E and first tone, so Ji, 鸡 that is chicken. And this one, 鸡, this vowel and final is yu and falling tone, 句. So 鸡 yu 句. And this one we're going to learn later, 句子 that is a sentence. And 鸡 this time third tone, so 几 ge, and falling tone, 个. So together, 几个 that means how many or a few. Where the second palatal initial is 鸡. Just as with 鸡, we raise the front part of the tongue to the hard palate and then press the tip of the tongue to the back of the lower teeth. But this time, force the air out, and this sound is aspirated, just as in the English word chair. 七 Now let's look at some exercises with 七. The first one is 七 and the final is yi, the first tone. So 七 that is number 7. 七. And this one, 七, the final is yi, but this time tone is going up, the second tone. So 骑, that means to ride. 骑. And this one, 七一, this time falling tone, 气. And this 气, this IU is pronounced the U as a final in the pinyin, and the tone is second going up. So 气 U 球, and together 气球, that is a balloon. 气球. The last palatal initial is 西. Just as the other two initials, we need to raise the front of the tongue to the hard palate and then press the tip of the tongue to the back of the lower teeth. But this time, let the air flow out of this channel, and the sound is aspirated, just as in the English word she. 西 Now let's do some exercises with 西. The first one is 西 and first tone 西. It means west. 西. And the second one, 西, and this IAO together as one final in Chinese pinyin, and is 腰, but it's a falling tone. So 腰, together 西腰笑, that means to laugh. 笑. And the last one is 西, this one is yu, and first tone 西 yu 虚. This one is just like this one, so 要 together 需要 that means to need. 需要. Well, let's compare these three palatal initials. 鸡 qi, xi, and they have the same tongue positions. That is the front part of the tongue raised to the hard palate, and we need to press the tip of the tongue to the back of the lower teeth. But the difference is that when we pronounce ji, we need to squeeze air out. And qi, we need to force air out. And the last one, xi, just let the air flow out. Well, that's all for the 3 palatal initials, ji, qi, xi. In this video, we're working on the blade alveolar initials, and they are z, c, s, and we group these 3 together as the blade alveolar because when we pronounce them, we need to place the tip of our tongue against the back of our teeth, which is the alveolar part. Now let's look at the first one. Z. So the tip of the tongue is placed against the back of the teeth, and then we try to sneeze the air out, and this sound is not aspirated, just as in the English word kids. So z, z, z.
Z, z, z.
But let's do some exercises with z. And the first one is z, and the vowel, the final is e, and fourth tone, the falling tone. So z, z. It means a word, a character. So z, z. And this one, z, e, z. And ji, yi, third tone, ji. So 自己, 自己 as one word phrase. So it means oneself. 自己, 自己. And this one, 自, and ai is pronounced I, the falling tone. 自ai 在, 在. And G and IAN is yan with a falling tone, the fourth tone. So 鸡yan 见, 再见, 再见. It means goodbye. 再见, 再见. The second blade alveolar is 呲. So when pronouncing this sound, you also need to put the tip of tongue against the back of the teeth, and this time force the air out. And this sound is aspirated, just as in the English word cats. So 呲, 呲, 呲.
C, c, c.
Now let's look at some exercises with 呲, 呲, ah, the first tone, ah, 擦, 擦. It means to wipe something. And then 呲, ai is I and fourth tone, falling tone. 呲, ai, 菜, 菜. 菜, it means a kind of food or a dish. So 菜, 菜. And this one, both initial and vowel and final are pronounced e. We're going to talk about this later. And so this is the second tone going up. So 一. And this one, 呲 and 一. This one is the fourth tone going down. So 呲一次, 一次, 一次. That means the frequency, one time. 一次, 一次. We'll look at the last alveolar initial, 斯. And just as with the other 2 blade alveolar sounds, the tip of the tongue is placed against the back of the teeth, and this time let the air flow out and it is aspirated, just as in the English word say. So, 嘶 嘶 嘶 Now let's do some exercises with 嘶. So 嘶 and an is the final and it's pronounced an, so the first tone. So 三 三 it means 3. 三 三 and this one 四 and yi, the fourth tone falling down. So 四 四 it means number 4. 四 四 and this one we have learned the bo, bo yi, third tone 比 and this one 四 ai is the final, together is pronounced I and the fourth tone, so falling down. 四 I 赛 赛 比赛 比赛 it means a game or a race, a competition. 比赛比赛 Well, that's all for this 3-blade air vela sound. Z, C, S. In this video, we are working on the blade palatal initials, and they are J, Ch, Sh, R. We group them together as blade palatal because when we pronounce them, we need to turn up the tip of tongue against the hard palate, which means you need to roll your tongue. This is very important in pronouncing these sounds. Well, let's look at the first one. J. So, turn up the tip of tongue against the hard palate and then loosen it a bit and let air out. This sound is not aspirated, just as in the English words junk. J, J, J. Well, let's look at some exercises with J. The first one is J, and this letter E is the final, and it's pronounced and the fourth tone falling down. So J, 这 这 it means this. 这 这. And next one, J, and this ong together as one final, and it's pronounced ong. First tone flat, so J, ong, 中 中, and it means middle. And 中 中. And next one is J and E, the first tone, J, E, and J. And the and AO is the final, and the fourth tone falling down. So 的 ao 道 together, 知道 知道 it means to know, to understand. 知道知道 Or the second blade palatal is ch. When pronounce this sound, we also need to turn up the tip of tongue against the hard palate. That means to roll your tongue and then loosen it a bit, and by this time force the air out, and the sound is aspirated, just as in the English word church. So 吃 吃 吃 Well, let's look at some exercises with 吃. And the first one is 吃 and the second tone going up. 吃啊茶 It means tea. 茶 And this one, 吃 and e, the first tone. So 吃 it means to eat. 吃 And this one, 吃 and e, this time the second tone. 吃 and this one, the and ao as ao, the fourth tone falling down. 到迟到 It means to be late, arrive late. 迟到 And the next blade palatal is 诗 Just as with the other two, when we pronounce this sound, we need to turn up the tip of the tongue against the hard palate and then loosen it a bit, but this time squeeze the air out and it is aspirated, just as in the English word shirt. So 诗 Whereas look at some exercises with 诗 and e, the second tone going up. So 十 it means 10. 十 And this one with the same pinyin as this one, but the tone is different. So it's the fourth tone falling down, and it's pronounced 诗 and e, 是 It means yes. 是 Now try to differentiate these two. 十 And this one, 诗 and en as the final together pronounced n. So second tone going up. 神 And this one more with no tone. So 什么 It means what. 什么 Where the last blade palatal sound is 日 As with the other three sounds, we also need to turn up the tip of the tongue against the hard palate. And this time try to obstacle the breath and then squeeze the air out and it is aspirated. Just as in the English word rabbit. So 日 Whereas look at some exercises with 日 The first one is 日 with the vowel, the final e and the fourth tone. So going down, 日 It means day. 日 And this one, 日 and en is n and second tones are going up. 日 en 人 It means person or people. 人 And this one, 日 and its final is letter E pronounced and fourth tone going down. So 日 热 means hot. 热 Well, so much for these four blade palatal sounds. 知 吃 诗 日 Well, remember to pronounce this four perfectly, you need to roll your tongue. And try this tip and you will find it very easy. If you find them helpful, please like, forward, and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much and see you next time. 谢谢，再见。